Hello, everybody. Welcome to React and Chill. On this channel, you know what I like to do. I like to react. I like to chill. Here, we're going to be chilling, not ranting, guys. Chilling, having a good time, talking about this topic. I know. You're probably like, oh, why are you doing this? Why am I doing this? I know you've been paying attention, right? A lot of people are doing this. Not just reactors, but many people in both fandoms, both fan groups have been doing this, and I'm like, okay, let's get it out of our system. Let's have a fun, lighthearted comparison between the two. Keep it fun, and do that sort of thing here. Okay, I mean we have BAND-MAID and The Warning, both really good bands. They're finally doing what they wanted to do, which is play together, have the same show and play together, share a stage, and they're doing that. This has been in the works for a while. This has been something that BAND-MAID fans wanted, something that The Warning fans wanted. Now I say that as a whole group, as a collective, which is, there might be those within each group that may not even really care for the other, but there is overlap. And the most important thing, though, let's start off with this, is that both bands like each other. Both bands seem to have an interest and a positive attitude towards one another's music, and they've been wanting to do this. So I think even if you don't like the other band, I think you can at least respect that the bands like each other. I think that. With that said, though, so let's have a fun, lighthearted comparison of this. Let's do it. I mean, and look, man, I enjoy both bands. I really do. And like I said, this is a fun, lighthearted comparison. It's not meant to be taken serious. And it's coming from a fan. I consider myself a fan because I listen to their music every day. I just went on a motorcycle ride. I was listening to both The Warning and BAND-MAID. Of course, among, Love Bites as well. Surprise, I listen to the music I react to on this channel. And so let's get into this, okay? Now, like I said, I noticed some fans have already started talking about this, fans from both camps. Started making comparisons. Some fans really deep in the fandom. Some comparisons may not really be as lighthearted as others may perceive. This is inevitable when two awesome bands with dedicated fan bases combine. Let's start this here. So the band composition. So as you know, BAND-MAID has 5 members and The Warning has 3. Let me back up a bit. So yeah, we are going to compare and look at the strengths, the weaknesses of each band, but really I'm going to try to keep this as objective as possible. Now there's all sorts of subjective stuff when it comes to music, right? And we'll get into that, and I'm really going to look at this based on what you could hear from the music and see from the live shows and all that. Like the other additional information, like how long they've been training in music and all that stuff, I'm going to set that aside. I'm just going based on the music, based on what you could see and hear. Like, what's the comparison? Okay. All right. So composition, The Warning's 3 members, BAND-MAID's 5 members. I will say this. Look, both are really good bands, right? The Warning's able to do a lot with 3. It's very surprising what they can do with 3 members, with only 3 members. Now, sure, there's things that they're doing to make it happen, but they are really taking advantage of everything they can to to pump out solid songs that you and I both love. Look, it's no disrespect to BAND-MAID. BAND-MAID is a solid band, okay? Very competent, very talented musicians there. And The Warning has talented musicians too. All right, we're going to get into that in a little bit. But I'm saying because The Warning's able to pump out solid songs with some complexity there, or some nice grooves, a solid rhythm, solid drumming. I'm going to have to give them the point there. They're able to utilize with what they have, which is only 3 members here. Okay. Now, as far as the band sounds, they're both hard rock, right? Both bands fall in the hard rock category. Though some songs may be darker or heavier, where it might seem to be a little bit more like metal. I'm thinking of BAND-MAID, in my opinion, They have done this with Unseen World on that album. They had plenty of songs there that were much more faster and harder, where they kind of seem like they're kind of leaning towards a heavier side, a more metal side maybe. With frantic, almost chaotic constructions of their songs, but this still sounded amazing. The Warning, in my opinion, I've never really played at the pace of BAND-MAID. From what correct me if I'm wrong, I to this day, and I'm not saying that The Warning can't pull it off. Okay, I'm sure The Warning can. I'm just based on what we have heard so far. It is a fact. It's not meant to be disrespect or anything like that. It is just a fact that I think BAND-MAID has shown, based on what we know so far, right, as played faster than The Warning. They got a faster tempo, faster pace, okay? And they've also had more, especially if you look at Unseen World, they have songs that, while The Warning can also have complexity in their songs, BAND-MAID has shown that they are willing, they have experimented with going even more and beyond the complexity and creating it almost sounds like chaotic pieces, but they sound good. I mean, they're well constructed. Don't get me wrong there. Don't get it twisted. Okay. So, but that's not a bad thing. That doesn't mean that The Warning is bad or anything. No, they're really good too. They're great musicians, and I think they also, much like BAND-MAID, one thing the bands have in common is that they create really awesome riffs. They have a solid rhythm section, and they just freaking deliver banger songs. Okay, now The Warning. Oh, another thing the BAND-MAID has that's very BAND-MAID is the kind of, compared to The Warning, is they do have a lighter side to them. You're going to have to say it. Kind of a quiet side. It's just in the look too. But okay. But also in the singing style. Sometimes that changes though, right? But whereas The Warning, compared to BAND-MAID, has had and still has a darker side to them, subject matter wise. Okay, like The Warning have produced many songs that are slower in tempo and really kind of really just kind of, I want to say kind of ruminate on certain emotions, like kind of just, I want to say like negative emotions, that just the feeling of loneliness and depression and those things that are very real, very human. And I think that's a strength for The Warning there. It really is. Like The Warning, while they can produce very heavy songs, and those are very hard songs, those are cool too. Don't get me wrong, very rockin' riffs and good, great grooves and all that stuff. I think some of my favorite songs are like the ones where it's like the emotional so deep. And when it comes to that, I feel like both bands have their strengths and weaknesses here, and this is where it gets subjective. Okay, all right, and so I can't really rate which one's better or the other because they are both good in what they do, and I wouldn't want them to change though. I wouldn't be surprised with this after this tour. I say tour, but I wouldn't be surprised that after this meetup and this show that they put on together, that there's some sort of influence that may occur, right? I wouldn't be surprised about that. But I wouldn't want the bands to change, right? Like BAND-MAID fans wouldn't want BAND-MAID to become The Warning, and The Warning fans wouldn't want The Warning become the BAND-MAID, right? They want them to be them, right? Right. Now, I would say the girls could do whatever the hell they want, right? Right? But on this area, it's kind of like whichever one you prefer the most, just let that be, and that's fine. But you also you should recognize, I hope anyway, that the other band brings something that the other does not at times in areas. It's like, yeah, they're both hard rock. They both have really great riffs and grooves and hooks. I mean, The Warning is hooks for days. BAND-MAID has hooks for days. I mean, that's how they got to where they got. Is because they have songs that they're just so catchy, great hooks, and amazing. Okay. So what about the particular members? All right, this is where it gets a little. This may, I guess, trigger some people. That word is so lame. Okay, it is like this. I'm a fan of both. I'm just going to repeat that again. Now, if you were to compare the members based on what you've heard, based on what we could all hear, right, and see from the live shows, if you were to take Alejandra or Ali and compare her to Misa, both can do very grooving bass lines. Both have solid bass lines. Now, with Misa, I know she can slap, and I know she can tap. I know she can play her bass off of Konami, who's a really good guitar player, and they can have a bass guitar battle. To this day, that hasn't happened with The Warning. It doesn't mean that it can't happen. Doesn't mean that it'll never happen. Doesn't mean that Ali doesn't have what it takes. It hasn't happened yet. So, based on what is out there so far, I will say that, sure, Misa is probably a more technical player. I don't think there's an argument there. I really don't think you can argue that Alejandra is more technical than Misa. It's just not possible. Okay, it's just not. Now I know you may say that Alejandra is younger and has many more years to learn, and that is true. That's a very true thing. And I think it'd be very curious. I'm very curious what could happen from like the show they put on together, of what things Alejandra could learn. You know, hey, I would not object if there were some more slapping and tapping down on the warning side. That'd be great. I love that. I love the sound of that. A bass slap, bass taps, good stuff. Okay, now what about guitar players? Okay, so BAND-MAID has two guitar players, Miku and Konami. Okay, now the Warning only has one. Now Danny has to layer her parts at times when they play live, and she has to utilize what she has. You know, she is using her tools and things that she has at her disposal to make a full sound just with one person, and that is a huge strength. That's awesome. That is amazing. If you want to talk about skill level, okay, I think. Look, Miku is fine for what she does. I think Danny, based on what, like I said, based on what we've heard so far, what we've seen from live shows and all that stuff, I think Danny might be a better. No, not might. I think Danny is a better guitar player than Miku, as far as, I just think she is. And then, but Konami has shown herself to be more technical. While Danny does have some solos, I don't think anyone could argue that Danny is more technical and more advanced than Konami. It's just not the case. It is a fact that Konami is a better guitar player, but that's not a bad thing. That's not an insult to Danny. I don't even think Danny would find that as an insult. I'm not insulting her. I'm just saying that is true. But at the same time, what is more important is that Danny can produce really amazing riffs that are really good, and she, along with her sisters, can construct, arrange parts that are just amazing. So while this comparison may not be what the Warning would like to hear, it doesn't mean that the Warning is bad or anything like that. No, man, the Warning has great songs. I mean, amazing hooks, man. Come on. Okay, but as far as drummer goes, so Pao is a great drummer, and she hits hard. She's amazing what she does. I love her change-ups. Man, you gotta see, like, the reason why the Warning is also so amazing is, like, you have Pao and Alejandra working so well together, and it's just amazing there. I would not want that to change. They have a tight groove. It is great delivery. I love it. Is Akane a better drummer than Powell? I don't really know. Okay, but based on what we could hear, what I know is Akane. Not saying that Powell can't do this, right? Like with the other comparisons, but Akane has shown herself to be able to go like faster, and she can also do the same change ups, similar change ups. Okay, I would have to say that Akane would be a more technical drummer. I just would have to. I would have to give it to her objectively. Okay? But I'm not that's not saying that Powell can't drum like that. That Powell isn't able to do what Akane can do. In fact, she probably can. I just haven't heard it. I haven't seen it. Okay? If you do a side-by-side comparison. But keep in mind, while that comparison was made, it doesn't, like I said, The Warning's a great band. But one more comparison needs to be made. That's with Psyche and Danny. Well, actually, not just with Danny, but Danny, Alejandra at times, and Powell. And then I guess you have Miku too, as well. So the singing style. See, this is where... Okay, is Psyche a better singer than Danny? Let's start with that. I mean, a singer in a traditional sense, sure, I guess, yeah. But it depends on what you want, though. This is where it gets, yeah, sure, there's an objective way to look at it, but it's also very subjective in that it's kind of what you want, you know? This area I have a difficult, as you can see, I have some difficulty in really looking at this objectively, because it's like for hard rock, Danny's voice is great, and Psyche's voice is good too as well. I love how Danny's voice is very aggressive at times. There's a lot of fire and passion when she's saying. I love her delivery. I love it, and I love that Powell can. Ooh, she has it too, man. I love the way they sing. It's great. Okay? Sure. I think Psyche could probably hit higher notes. There's that. She has a softer voice. Okay. Is that better? Is that worse? I would just say it's different. A vocal coach would have to tell you which one's more technical than the other. I'll say Psyche's probably more technical, I suppose, on what you could do with. But a vocal coach would have to tell you a little bit more about that. Maybe explain that. But like I said, with the other comparisons, it doesn't mean like one's really better than the other as far as enjoyment goes, right? They're both really good bands. They both produce really good music, and they work. Like The Warning wouldn't want Danny to start singing like Psyche, and BAND-MAID wouldn't want Psyche to start singing like Danny, or even Powell, right? It just wouldn't, just would not want that. So at the end of this, like this whole comparison thing is rather silly, right? Right? That's the real takeaway of this video. Not that you waste your time. I think this, we got it out of our systems. Hopefully you made it this far in the video. You got it out of your system. It's like, oh, it's like comparing apples and oranges. You can make that comparison. I mean, they're both fruit. They both grow from a tree. They both have a skin. One's really more of a peel. But okay. But that's kind of where the comparison ends. I mean, both could be squeezed for juice. One's really good for pie. The other one, not so much. You don't make an orange pie. I don't know about that. I've never had that before. That might be a little too much there. Anyway, guys, the real takeaway, like I said, is the comparisons are silly. You can have a fun time with it, sure. You can see that in the comment section. I've been noticing that. And it's like, well, sure. I mean, you can make these comparisons about which one's better and whatever, but really, that doesn't necessarily matter. It's cool for like, a little conversation here and there. The most important thing though is that these girls and their bands are producing great music that their fans enjoy, and there's even overlap there. So it's like fans of the BAND-MAID also enjoy The Warning for who they are. They wouldn't want them to change. Sure. And The Warning is going to get, as far as like the technical differences, they will get better as they continue playing, which is something that I'm positive you're going to see 100%. I wouldn't be surprised if later on, I wouldn't be surprised in the not too distant future that Alejandro starts like slapping the bass and doing different things. Wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, with that said, you guys let me know what you thought about this. Y'all take it easy. Have a good one. And stay safe.